In July 2026, the Saudi-flagged tanker Encelia was struck by a projectile in the Red Sea. The ship burned on the open water, signaling a direct assault on a maritime route that handles millions of barrels of oil every day. In Ukraine, over 10,000 protesters took to the streets of Kyiv, demanding the immediate dismissal of their military commander and a total technological restructuring of their national defense. Simultaneously, French lawmakers voted to ban social media access for children under 15, asserting state control over the digital exposure of its youngest citizens. And in the United States, the Department of Homeland Security issued a final rule to tighten visa durations, imposing rigid new caps on foreign students and international journalists. For decades, the global order operated on the assumption that trade was frictionless, borders were permeable, and security could be outsourced to a standardized network of Western alliances. That system is breaking down because traditional institutions are failing to manage modern asymmetric threats, from autonomous drones disrupting energy transit to foreign algorithms capturing the attention of domestic populations. These events represent a shared momentum, a worldwide retreat behind national lines as old security guarantees fail. Governments are no longer prioritizing global integration. They are fortifying the state. The first wall is being built across global trade routes. Asymmetric strikes by Houthi rebels have demonstrated that inexpensive missiles can successfully sever the arteries of the global economy. To avoid the Red Sea, tankers are now forced into longer, more expensive voyages around Africa, pushing the U.S. to threaten direct strikes on Iranian power plants and infrastructure to protect commercial transit. Because Western security alliances are failing to guarantee safe passage, vulnerable nations are seeking localized, independent defense solutions. The United Arab Emirates, historically a major buyer of American defense systems, is now in early talks with India to acquire BrahMos supersonic missiles and Akash-Tir automated air defense systems. By localizing weapons procurement and securing their own trade routes, these nations are treating economic interdependence as a fatal vulnerability. This fortification extends to the internal management of human capital. In Ukraine, the state is being forced to restructure its military command to satisfy a public no longer willing to accept traditional attrition. The dismissal of General Syrski followed intense criticism of his rigid hierarchy and his command's disregard for human losses during the mobilization crisis. The new survival doctrine is embodied by figures like Mikhailo Fedorov, who has advocated for shifting the military's focus toward battlefield automation and innovation. This strategy prioritizes troop preservation and technological superiority over the sheer mass of soldiers, marking a shift in how the state values and utilizes its own citizens. This internal oversight of the population is mirrored by the restriction of foreign nationals, as seen in the latest U.S. immigration policy. The Department of Homeland Security is ending the era of open-ended visas. Under the new rules, foreign student stays are capped at 4 years, and Chinese journalists are limited to just 90 days, requiring active reapplication for any extension of stay. The demand for military troop preservation and the tightening of foreign residency caps work in tandem. The state is reclaiming absolute oversight over the humans moving within its jurisdiction. The architecture of the fortress state has now expanded into the cognitive domain. In France, President Emmanuel Macron has moved to legally prohibit social media access for children under 15, creating a structural barrier between the nation's youth and global digital platforms. This policy treats the citizens' attention as a sovereign resource. By declaring that the brains of our children are not for sale, the French government is framing digital exposure as a matter of national security, equivalent to a physical border. For decades, strong nations were measured by global integration. Today, power belongs to states with resilient supply chains, regulated borders, and cognitive sovereignty. We are shifting toward localized isolation, offering internal stability but leaving a fragmented world for everyone else.